The time I first came under a fire attack is an experience which you can never really know what it's going to be like until it happened. You get to understand the sound of a round that's coming close to you and know to take effective action. That's in training. When it happens for real, it is different. But your training is there and it does work. You know what to do. I believe it's honestly saved my life out there. I joined the TA in October 2000. I deployed to Afghanistan in March 2010. My first role out there was in Lashkar. We were tasked with making sure the base was safe from mortar attack. If we got mortar attack, my team's role was to identify where that attack came from and direct fire back onto that location. The Scots Guards out there asked me to help with their influence work. They needed a female face to engage with the female local population. The elders in the village were able to speak to females. They were fascinated with the idea of a female in the army. They would come and talk to me about what my role was. Did I have command over men? Just very, very interested in the same sure as faces that we knew were, if not actual Taliban, then certainly sympathetic. They had a slightly different attitude towards us being there, obviously. From Lashkar, I moved to Nadiali, and that's where I spent the bulk of my tour, based in a FOB, a forward operating base. From there, I was moving out constantly into very small patrol bases. When I first came out to a particular patrol base, got in there, I got assigned my bunk, put my kit down, looked up, and right above my bunk were a number of bullet holes. That was a really eye-opener to, if there is a front line, I am on the front line. The life was very uncomplicated. We'd built the loos, we'd built the wash area. I would often be the only female. The ablution facilities were not necessarily terribly private. They'd always give me so much space. That was the only thing that they had to change for me, and did it with natural courtesy. There was downtime. We would try to have a little cook-off and see who was the best chef. Things like that was just fun, pass the time. There's a number of very memorable impressions I've taken back, right from interacting with the female population out there and realising how restricted their lives can be, through to the very unusual experience of being shot at with intent to kill me. Rounds coming that close, understanding what you can still do in those situations. Moving from Afghanistan to when we flew back into England, I remember looking out of the windows. It was so green and soft looking country compared to the very rugged grandeur of Afghanistan. The very first thing, I wanted to go into the countryside and be able to walk and not worry about where I was going or where my feet were going. I loved that freedom. My first day back at work, people were very curious what it'd been like, had I come under fire, had I fought back. But coming back was fairly natural. So thinking about, you were looking for TV in the home. Yeah. What are your clients talking about? There's a huge number of skills I've developed or improved while I was on tour, from man management, team management. So there's going to be a lot about, children staying level-headed under pressure, trying to get a job done with limited resources. On TV as well, is it? But one thing that's very hard to get used to is the amount of crowds, especially living in London. It's probably the one thing I haven't adjusted back to. In the UK, we have so much and we don't notice it and certainly don't value it. The Afghans, they have so little and they are so appreciative for every item. I think I've got a much better perspective about what really matters. Family and friends. If a press release goes out half a day late, that's not going to end the world. I do hanker after that very simple way of life we had.